Welcome to the Real Crime Diary, Daily Dose of Crime. I'm your host, MHB, and today we delve into the captivating and contentious case of Emanuel Antonio Littlejohn, a death row inmate whose story raises profound legal and ethical questions. Emanuel Littlejohn's crime took place in June 1992 during a robbery at the Root and Scoot convenience store in Oklahoma City. Littlejohn and his co-defendant, Glenn Bethany, were arrested 2 years later. The robbery resulted in the death of Kenneth Mears, but it remains unclear who fired the fatal shot. Littlejohn was convicted of both robbery and first-degree malice aforethought murder, leading to his death sentence. At the time, Littlejohn was a young man facing a future shaped by severe childhood trauma and cognitive impairments, which he claims significantly impacted his actions and decisions. The legal complexities in Littlejohn's case are multifaceted. His defense has argued persistently about the ineffectiveness of his legal counsel. One major point of contention is the jury's lack of awareness about the significant brain damage Littlejohn suffered due to his mother's prenatal substance abuse and his turbulent childhood. This brain damage impairs his executive functioning abilities, a critical factor that was not presented during his trial. Another pivotal issue is the uncertainty surrounding the actual shooter, as his co-defendant, who might have been the one to pull the trigger, received a life sentence instead of the death penalty. These issues highlight broader concerns within the U.S. legal system about fairness and the adequacy of legal representation. Ethically, Littlejohn's death sentence draws intense scrutiny. Was it just to sentence him to death, especially given his cognitive impairments and the unresolved question of whether he was the actual shooter? The case brings to light the ongoing debates about the death penalty, particularly whether it should be applied in circumstances where the defendant's mental health and background were not fully considered during the trial. This has led to calls for clemency and a reevaluation of his sentence, urging authorities to acknowledge these ethical dimensions and the broader implications for justice. As of today, Emanuel Littlejohn's status remains in a state of legal flux. His execution date is set for September 26, 2024, but his lawyer continues to appeal to Governor Kevin Stitt and Attorney General Gentner Drummond to recognize the alleged unfairness and excessiveness of his death sentence. The argument centers around his extensive brain damage and the comparison of his sentence to that of his co-defendant. This ongoing legal struggle underscores the complexities and moral dilemmas inherent in capital punishment cases. In conclusion, Emanuel Littlejohn's case is emblematic of the deep issues within our legal and ethical frameworks around capital punishment. It challenges us to reflect on justice, fairness, and how society should address individuals whose life trajectories have been marred by severe trauma and cognitive impairments. As we continue to explore these stories, I encourage you to consider your perspectives on the death penalty and what it means for our justice system. Thank you for joining me on the Real Crime Diary, Daily Dose of Crime. Stay tuned for more compelling stories that continue to shape our understanding of justice. Until next time, this is MHB signing off.